let's go to Baltimore. The Ravens did a great job again this week, and they are kind of proving that they might be the most complete team in football. They had a great performance against Houston. Lake, you want to talk about this Ravens team because you're predicting them to go to the Super Bowl.
I was just about to say, you took the words out of my mouth. I mean, can I, since y'all killed me for being late, can I get some love for that one? You know, because I did say Baltimore and Seattle in the Super Bowl, and it's looking real good. Look, Baltimore's loaded. They might be better this year than what they were last year from a talent standpoint. The kid Dobbins from Ohio State gives them another dynamic running back that complements, Mark Ingram that can keep him fresh. So they're loaded. And Lamar Jackson's another year better. He's making all the throws now. Still high percentage passes to Mark Andrews, the tight end. Baltimore, Kansas City Monday night is as close to must-see TV as there possibly could be in sports.
There.
Yeah, I can't wait.
My good friend up in Baltimore, punter, he said he calls Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, and J.K. Dobbins the three-headed monster.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, maybe we should just start calling them Medusa. I mean, all these different snakes and stuff coming. I mean, they're loaded. I mean, I would be, to me, this is a prelude of the AFC Championship game coming up. I mean, there's some other teams that could change that, but Kansas City and Baltimore are light years better than any other team, in the AFC. And I think over in the NFC, I think you're starting to see, Seattle really, This might be the year Russell Wilson finally has him a nice option on the outside and the kid Metcalf.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
They just look like a hungry football team. I'm just excited, for where this goes. And it's also, no coincidence that there's some African-American quarterbacks leading these great teams.
Hey, Lake, that Seattle New England game was pretty darn good. Cam Newton
didn't play bad at all.
Hold on. His demise is a little overrated. I think that.
Yeah. I think his arm is healthy again. His shoulder.
So
his
listen.
whole body is.
I want to throw this at you guys. I just said this on the other thing. I had a flashback earlier today. I was writing the article, and it's in the article. Washington, imagine if they had picked up Cam Newton because he's played in the system, and they kept Adrian Peterson. Where would they be if they had those two veterans with these young guys? They would complement that defense as far as what the offense could do.
Right.
It just, man, it makes you wonder, like, and I understand why they didn't do that, but, man, that would have been a look because when I saw Cam the other day, he looks huge in that
New England
uniform. He looks like he's in shape and he's motivated, man.
Hold on. And they got him dirt cheap. They got him dirt cheap, bro.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is like, ha ha.
But you know what?
27.
He's got a lot to prove to himself and to other people that he still had it. But the thing about when you look at all of these quarterbacks, you look at Lamar Jackson, he doesn't have to do everything himself. He's got so many other entities around. But I wanted to go back to Adrian Peterson. And when you look at the Washington football team's running game, and they've got talent there. I mean, they've got depth. But maybe you should have made now, and I know Tony's going to say, told you they should have kept AP. Maybe he would have helped because he's already familiar with a lot of things. Gibson is going to be all of that. We like him as far as McKissick. But what's happened to Bryce Love? He's not even getting on the field right now.
Yeah, I told Lake the first week. I looked at him and I was like, "Yo, Agent, why? I mean, he's been the most consistent offensive player the last 2 years for the Washington football team." And Lake said to me, that they had to move on for the young guys. But man, when I saw them struggle in the desert, I was like, "There's no way AP couldn't at least stabilize something in there with the running game." But I hear what you said. But they had to move on. I understand they had to move on, but that one hurts because he still has a lot left in the tank, and they play him this year. They play Detroit this year.
They
So
both those backs yesterday combined for over 100 yards.
Yeah.
Gibson and McKissick. So again, they do have talent. I agree with you, Donna. They definitely have talent. But I think in the situation, in hindsight, when you go back and you look at it, those guys need the blocking because they're young to figure it out. Adrian Peterson doesn't. And I think that he probably would have been more suited for a bad offensive line because he was running behind a bad offensive line for 2 years here and still produced. I understand what Ron Rivera is doing, and finally they have a vision, and I'm okay with the vision, even if it means moving on from some popular players. It just makes me wonder. Like I said, I had that vision of Cam and AP with Terry McLaurin, and that could have been wow.
Well, you're talking about
Jordan Reed's balling too, by the way.
You're talking about Terry McLaurin, and to me, when you look at that passing game, somebody else has to be able to step up in the passing game. Terry is doing all that he possibly can, but we've got to get more out of Steven Sims and Logan Thomas, who Haskett and him just did not connect well against the Cardinals. But they've got to be able to get more, or somebody's got to step up. I know that the Washington football team was looking at receivers. They desperately need that other guy. I love Steven Sims. I think he's a great player, but you've got to have another Terry in there. Yeah, a slot. You've got to have another Terry somewhere in there because they're not getting it done in the passing game, and they can't afford to get off to these slow starts against anybody because they just are not that team that's going to be able to come back. They did against Philadelphia, but they've got hard games getting ready to come up.
Marvin, I got to ask you this, Marvin. So you see, just like all of us, Marvin, you saw that secondary. Troy, Aki, I don't know what's the infatuation with that. I heard a quote from Ron Rivera saying that we're putting a lot on this young man. So it's clear that they're staying with him and they're going to let him figure it out. But that secondary, Marvin, I mean, your thoughts?
What about Collins? I mean, Collins made a big mistake. That first touchdown by the Cardinals, Collins didn't get back. And he was wide. The guy was wide open in the end zone. So it's Collins and Apke have to do better, I think. And I think that if they do better, I think that the corners are going to hang in there. They're not going to be, all pro corners, but I think they'll be okay, especially if the team gets a pass rush consistently. They didn't do as well this past week. Of course, we know why. Kyler is a lot different from Carson Wentz, but now we see the difference in Carson Wentz and Kyler Murray. But I think that if those two guys, and I noticed that too, Lou, I think we had talked about that before. The two safeties are going to be very important.
And they have the other opponents now, they have tape on these guys and they know where to attack now, Mm-hmm. I mean, these coaches, they can pick up things quick, even in one thing I will say to all of you, can we say that, you know what? There's not going to be no more preseason. Preseason's done.
Yeah.
Preseason's done. Lake, preseason is done. I mean, the quality of football that we're seeing now in week 1 and 2, preseason is done.
All right. Washington
you
against
do?
Cleveland.
You think that they'll still have preseason games, like
Lou?
I do.
We've got about 30 seconds, Lou. Everybody give me their opinion, like in 5 seconds. Washington, Cleveland. Who's going to win?
On the road, I think Washington figures it out and they win on the road.
All right, Donna.
Washington football team, I think they get this one.
Lake.
I'm going Cleveland.
I'm going to make it even then, Lake. I'm going to go Cleveland. It's a tough decision, though, because Cleveland, I mean, they're so inconsistent.
You don't know which team.
You don't know which team you're going to get. But if
same with Washington. Same with Washington.
Yeah. But thanks, guys.
I'm glad Lou picked.
We're out of time, so we're going to have to close it out. Thank you so much, Lake, for coming in.
Appreciate
Donna
it.
Hopkins, as always, and Lou Holder. I'm Marvin Jackson. Get out and vote, everybody. If you haven't registered, please do that and get out and vote. We'll see you next time on the sideline.